My new boss said I was too blue-collar for management and tried to demote me in front of everyone. I showed up on Monday as the new owner and fired him immediately. I worked at this manufacturing company for 5 years as a production manager, started straight out of college and worked my way up from the floor. I knew every machine, every process, every worker's name, and their kids' names too. My team consistently hit the highest output numbers in the company, and we hadn't had a safety incident in 3 years. Everything was running smoothly until corporate sent us a new plant director named Kyle. Kyle was one of those guys who got his MBA from some fancy school and thought that made him better than everyone who actually knew how to run things. First day, he walked through the plant in his expensive suit, wouldn't shake anyone's hand, and told me my daily reports were too simple and needed more business terminology. The reports that everyone had used for a decade. At first it was just annoying stuff. He'd schedule meetings during shift changes when he knew I had to be on the floor. He'd ask for reports with 2 hours notice, then complain they weren't detailed enough. He'd come to the floor and tell my workers they were moving too slow, even though we were 20% above target. But then it got personal. During a budget meeting, Kyle straight up said I was too blue-collar for management, and that the company needed to modernize by bringing in people with real business backgrounds, not people who got promoted from the floor. He said this in front of the entire leadership team. My direct reports were there. The HR director was there. Everyone just sat there quiet. The next week he hired his buddy as assistant plant director and started routing all my reports through him. This guy had never set foot in a manufacturing plant before. Kyle would have him sit in on my meetings and take notes. Then later Kyle would email me the notes with corrections on how I should have handled things. He started overriding my scheduling decisions, moving my best workers to night shift to prove he could make the day shift run without them. Production dropped 15% in a month. When I pointed this out, Kyle said I was being negative and resistant to change. He wrote me up for insubordination. That was strike 1 in the company handbook. 3 strikes and you're gone. Then came the worst part. Kyle started telling customers that he was bringing in new management to fix the plant's efficiency problems that didn't exist until he showed up. He told our biggest client that I was temporary and would be replaced by someone with proper qualifications within the year. The client called me directly because we'd worked together for 4 years and he was confused. That's when I learned something interesting. The owner of our company, Mr. Torres, was looking to retire and sell. He'd been quietly shopping the company around for months. Kyle didn't know this. Nobody at the plant knew except me, because Mr. Torres and I went way back. He'd hired me personally when I was 22 and broke. I helped his daughter get a job at another company when she graduated. We weren't friends exactly, but we respected each other. I started putting together a buyout proposal. Got my uncle, who ran a private equity firm, interested. Got 3 of our major customers to write letters saying they'd only continue contracts if I stayed in management. Got the entire floor crew to sign a petition saying they'd walk if Kyle stayed in charge. The numbers were brutal, but doable. My uncle's firm would front 70%. I'd put in my savings and take a loan for 20%. And we'd give the floor workers the other 10% as an employee ownership program. The deal was set to close on a Friday. That Thursday, Kyle called an all-hands meeting. He announced a restructuring where I'd be demoted to floor supervisor, and his buddy would take over production management. He said the company needed leaders who understood business, not just people who knew how to work machines. He actually said I was everything wrong with American manufacturing, promoting people who didn't belong in leadership just because they'd been around a long time. I just nodded and said, okay. Friday morning, the sale went through. Kyle showed up Monday to an email that the company had been sold, and there would be a meeting at 9 to meet the new owner. He walked in so confident, probably thinking corporate had finally sent someone to clean house properly. I was sitting in the owner's chair. The look on his face was worth every penny of debt I'd taken on. I kept it professional, told him his position was being eliminated due to redundancy. His buddy too. 2 weeks severance, which was generous, considering they'd both been there less than 6 months. Kyle tried to argue that I couldn't do this, that corporate wouldn't allow it. That's when I explained that I was corporate now. Me, the blue-collar girl who didn't belong in management, owned the whole company. He cleared out his desk that afternoon. The plant's running better than ever. We're up 30% in production, landed 2 new major contracts, and every worker got a raise from the employee ownership profits.